Every great team you've ever watched, Guardiola's City, Klopp's Liverpool, Cruyff's Ajax, is running an idea that someone else invented decades earlier. Football didn't start with pressing, false nines, or inverted fullbacks. It started with 11 players chasing the ball like it was a school playground. 10 tactical ideas changed all of that. Each one solved a problem the previous system couldn't fix. And by the end of this video, you'll see exactly how the formation your team plays today was built, piece by piece, over more than 100 years. Let's start at the beginning. The pyramid. The pyramid was football's first real tactical system. 2 defenders, 3 midfielders, 5 forwards. In the early years of the sport, there was barely a system at all. Players chased the ball instead of holding position, and matches looked chaotic. The pyramid changed that. 2 defenders stayed back to stop attacks. 3 midfielders connected defense to attack. 5 forwards worked together to create chances. For the first time, players had defined jobs, and teams started using short passes and teamwork instead of pure dribbling. 5 forwards constantly stretched defenses and created a steady stream of scoring chances. And because everyone knew where to be, the team was far more effective than the chaos before it. The catch was that with only 2 defenders, teams were exposed to fast counterattacks as the game got quicker. The pyramid took off through Scottish football in the late 1800s, and its passing style spread across Britain and then the world. No team plays it today, but every tactic on this list exists because of it. It would take one rule change to blow the pyramid apart completely. The WM formation. In 1925, the offside law changed. Attackers suddenly had far more freedom. Defenses that had worked for decades were now exposed, and teams needed an answer fast. The WM was that answer. 3 defenders, 2 defensive midfielders, 2 attacking midfielders, 3 forwards. By pulling one midfielder back into the defensive line, teams went from 2 defenders to 3, and became much harder to break down. The attacking midfielders linked defense to attack, while the defensive midfielders protected the center. The extra defender gave real protection against fast attackers, and clear roles made the team compact and hard to play through. The catch was that as football evolved and players began swapping positions more freely, the WM's rigid structure became easier to exploit. Herbert Chapman built this system at Arsenal, and it shaped defensive football for decades. Trace almost any modern back 3 back far enough, and you land here. But the next breakthrough didn't come from a rule change. It came from one man refusing to stay where he was told. The Hungarian false 9. In the early 1950s, Hungary handed their coaching staff an impossible problem to defend against. A centre forward who wouldn't play like one. Instead of staying near the opponent's goal, Nandor Hidegkuti dropped deep into midfield. This role would later be called the false 9, and it broke defenders' brains. Follow him, and you leave space behind. Ignore him, and he has all the time in the world on the ball. Either way, you lose. And while defenders froze, Ferenc Puskás and Sandor Kocsis attacked the gaps that opened up in front of goal. Defenders were constantly dragged out of position, opening room for runners, and opponents had no idea who was even supposed to mark him. The catch was that it demanded genuinely elite players, intelligent movement, and passing that most teams simply didn't have. Hungary proved it beyond doubt, with a 6-3 demolition of England at Wembley in 1953. A result that rewired how coaches everywhere thought about attacking football. Versions of the false 9 are still used today. Football's next leap came from a completely different continent. The Brazilian 4-2-4. Brazil's answer was balance. 4 defenders, 2 midfielders, 4 attackers. A system where every line supported the next. 4 defenders gave real defensive stability. 2 midfielders controlled possession while linking defense and attack. 4 forwards stretched defenses from every angle at once. 4 forwards gave constant attacking options around the box, and 4 defenders was a huge upgrade on older systems like the pyramid. The catch was the brutal workload it put on just 2 midfielders, who were often outnumbered in the center of the pitch. Brazil made it famous by winning the 1958 World Cup with Pelé, Garrincha, Didi, and Vavá, a team that combined pure flair with real tactical discipline. It became one of the biggest steps toward the modern game. But not every revolution was about attacking. The next one was built to stop goals happening at all. Catenaccio. Catenaccio means door bolt in Italian, and that's exactly what it was designed to do. Lock the defense shut. The system used 4 defenders, plus a sweeper, a libero, who sat behind the back line to clean up anything that got through. The rest of the team stayed compact and patient, waiting for the right moment to break. With an extra defender always covering, very few goals got through, and winning the ball meant instant space to break into on the counter. The catch was that, with so much of the team focused on defending, attacking creativity often suffered. Helenio Herrera's Inter Milan made Catenaccio famous in the 1960s, winning multiple European titles, and proving that elite defending could be just as decisive as elite attacking. Few teams run it in its pure form today, but its defensive DNA is everywhere. The next idea threw the entire concept of positions out the window. Total football. What if no player had a fixed position at all? That was total football. Players constantly swapped roles while the team kept its shape. If one player pushed forward, a teammate instantly filled the space he left behind. Opponents couldn't mark players who never stayed still, and the constant movement meant constant passing options and easy control of possession. The catch was that it demanded outstanding technical ability, fitness, and tactical intelligence from every single player. There's one mistake, and huge spaces opened up. Rinus Michels built it at Ajax and the Netherlands in the early 1970s, with Johan Cruyff as its symbol, a player who could influence literally every area of the pitch. The Netherlands didn't win the '74 World Cup, but the idea won anyway. It shaped generations of coaches that followed. The next revolution wasn't about who had the ball, it was about taking it away immediately. Saki's pressing revolution. In the late 1980s, Arrigo Sacchi asked a simple question. Why wait for the opponent to attack? His AC Milan pressed high and aggressively, trying to win the ball back the instant it was lost. The whole team moved as one unit. When one player pressed, everyone pressed. Recovering possession near the opponent's goal created chances almost instantly, and the whole team defended together instead of relying on individuals. The catch was that it was physically brutal. Every player needed elite fitness and perfect timing for the full 90 minutes. Sacchi's Milan won back-to-back European Cups in 1989 and 1990, proving that a well-drilled team could beat individual brilliance. Modern pressing systems still run on the same blueprint. One tactic took Sacchi's control through pressure idea and flipped it into control through possession. Tiki-Taka. Instead of winning the ball to attack fast, why not just never give it back? Tiki-Taka was built on short passes, constant movement, and long spells of possession. Teams patiently probed until a gap finally opened. The midfield became the engine of the whole system, always offering an option, always controlling tempo. Dominating the ball meant dominating the chances, and if the opponent never had the ball, they couldn't attack. The catch was that against a deep, disciplined defense with little room to move into, breaking through could still be genuinely difficult. Pep Guardiola's Barcelona, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Messi, turned it into a European dynasty. Spain rode the same principles to Euro 2008, the 2010 World Cup, and Euro 2012, making Tiki-Taka one of the most successful systems the sport has ever seen. But even Tiki-Taka had a weakness, and the next tactic was built specifically to exploit it. Gegenpressing. What happens in the 3 seconds right after a team loses the ball? Most teams retreat. Gegenpressing attacks instead. The logic, the opponent is most vulnerable the moment they win possession, because their players are still spread out of shape. So instead of dropping back, you swarm the ball immediately. Winning the ball high up the pitch could mean scoring in 2 or 3 passes, and the opponent never got enough time to build a counterattack in the first place. The catch was how relentless it was on the body. Constant sprinting, over and over for the full match. Jurgen Klopp made it famous with back-to-back Bundesliga titles at Borussia Dortmund, then took it to Liverpool, where it delivered the 2019 Champions League and the 2000 T20 Premier League. Counter-pressing is now baked into how most top teams defend. The final shift on this list didn't create a new tactic. It quietly rewrote a position that had barely changed in 100 years. Inverted fullbacks. For most of football's history, fullbacks did one job: hug the touchline and overlap. Modern football rewired that completely. Inverted fullbacks now step inside, into central midfield, the moment their team has the ball, turning a back four into an extra central midfielder on demand. A traditional back four can morph into a back three with 2 extra players controlling the middle. This gives teams more control of the center without making a single substitution, and if possession is lost, the fullbacks are already central and well placed to stop the counter. The catch is that the wide areas they've vacated can be exposed if the rest of the defense doesn't cover fast enough. Guardiola made this the signature of his Manchester City side. João Cancelo, John Stones, Kyle Walker, and Alexander Zinchenko, all tucking inside to control possession. It's now one of the defining ideas of the modern game. 10 ideas. More than 100 years. Every one of them was built to solve a problem the last tactic couldn't. And every team you watch this weekend is still running some version of at least one of them. So which one shows up most in how your team plays? Drop it in the comments, and subscribe if you want the next 100 years of tactics broken down just like this.